Hello and welcome to Let's Review. Well, in a twist of fate that I can't exactly say I didn't see coming, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc has taken me more than the full week to play. As such, I think you can probably guess what that means, as it is once again time to go digging in the crate. As with last week, we're going to talk about a slightly older game this week, one that I own a PS2 copy of. And it's a game that asks and answers the age-old question: what's it like to be the bad guy? This game in particular actually encourages you to become the villain of your own 50s sci-fi B-movie. Ladies and gentlemen, Destroy All Humans. Wasn't this the game that came with a free copy of Plan 9 from Outer Space? Indeed it was. And that should probably tell you just how far into their cheeks the creators of this game had their tongues planted. The game follows a member of the Furon race as they attempt to conquer the Earth in the name of the Furon Empire. That alien is known as Cryptosporidium 137 and is in many ways a classic Roswell Grey. He also has no genitalia. Was there a particular need to establish that fact? Yes, actually, because it's very pertinent to the plot. The point about the Furon race is that they are all clones, hence the 137 after Crypto's name, and they're all suffering from a form of replicative fading. They're a dying species and they can't reproduce sexually anymore, which means that their race will die out. However, they've found records that some Furons visited Earth many centuries ago, long before they started cloning themselves, and as a result believe that the human race might hold the key to their original genetic code that might help them stave off extinction. Wait, are they implying what I think they are implying? Crypto and his commanding officer, Orthopox 13, are sent to the Earth to investigate the possibility of saving the Furon race. And since the game is set in the 50s, and I mentioned Roswell earlier, I think you can probably guess what happened to Crypto's predecessor, Cryptosporidium 136. He retired and went to live on a nice farm in the country? More like he bought the farm in the country. Cryptosporidium 136 is the Roswell Grey alien, and it transpires that there's a secret organisation called Majestic which has been tasked with defending the human race from us. They're also going about it in the most sinister way possible, but hey, you can't have everything. And those G-Man suits do look rather spiffy. Wait a minute. The secret organisation is called Majestic. Are they referencing Dark Skies? Well, I would like to think so. Somebody's got to remember that show. Gameplay-wise, Destroy All Humans is a third-person action game where you control Crypto and use his various psychic abilities and weapons to just generally mess around with the human race. There's also a certain amount of stealth element to it, as you can use holographic technology to disguise yourself as a person, which allows you to move around without everybody freaking out that there's an alien amongst them. If you want, you can also hop in your flying saucer, though, and use that to cause massive widespread destruction, because, hey, why not? Massive civilian casualties? You're rather missing the implication of the title there, aren't you? The gameplay is honestly pretty good, but my personal favourite thing about this game is actually the banter between Crypto and Pox. They're actually just a really good double act. Crypto and Pox. Sounds like the title of a children's show intended to inform about bacteria. Granted, but that doesn't exactly take away from my point, does it? This game is really funny, especially if you get all the B-movie tropes that it's using and then skewering. And frankly, it does help that the voice acting for the most part is pretty good, especially on Crypto and Pox themselves. It's also worth noting that it's got one of the most ridiculously awesome final bosses in a video game. Even if it isn't actually the final boss, there's one more boss after it. But I don't want to give away too much information on that because it's something you kind of have to experience yourself just to see the complete lunacy. But one thing I will say is that it also ends in a satisfying manner that leaves it open for a sequel. Why do so many games utterly fail to do that properly? You caught me. The sequel, creatively named Destroy All Humans 2, came out a few years later and improved on pretty much everything. But I think that's worth talking about on its own at some point in the future. What I will say is, if you can find a copy of Destroy All Humans and you have a working PS2, I would absolutely recommend you give it a go. The graphics have dated a bit, like every PS2 game, but the writing still absolutely holds up, and it's well worth a go if you can find a copy in the second-hand aisle. Or you could just do the legally dubious thing and emulate it. I won't judge you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a very creepy school ruled over by a psychotic teddy bear to get back to. I will see you later.